Hi, Evie. How are
Hello,
you?
Piotr. I'm really well, thank you. You?
I'm very well. I'm really happy for you. I have to say, congratulations and happy anniversary, because
Thank
you're
you.
celebrating exactly 1 year birthday. So congratulations once again.
Thank you. That's correct. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm really thankful that you like it and that you follow us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm just curious, how did you celebrate so far, and why I
We
wasn't invited?
we celebrated with work, which is the best celebration, really. We were really busy. Our clientele is growing, so we're really trying to cater to each and every one of our clients. And we're doing a lot of the theoretical work as well. So a lot of texts, a lot of materials. We do our own editorials. We did the anniversary one, which is very close to our heart, and preparing for the next one. So we really celebrated with work, had a little champagne, because if we didn't have champagne, it would be a big sin. But with work, yes, it was not a great, as I say to myself, the first celebration is not the trick, you know. If there will be 10th anniversary, that's going to be a huge celebration, or at least the 5th, so.
Okay, so I cross my fingers for you. I'm coming next year for the next year celebration, and because hopefully the situation will work for us, for both of us, so we'll be able to.
I am absolutely taking your word for it, because I'll be delighted to have you here. So hopefully, and I'm crossing it.
I'm coming. You don't need to ask me twice. You know me. So Eva, how are you doing about? How do you feel about this week batch that we received?
Oh my God, again, 50-50. I really think that there's lots to talk about, and there's also lots not to talk about. We already know what this means. I stress again to all the viewers and readers that this is not pre-recorded, not pre-prepared. We don't even consult with each other. Piotr always sends me the invitation, and I'm always curious to hear what he has to say. And I hope he's at least a bit curious about what I have to say, because really, until it happens, we really don't know. So I don't know. I think that I would like to repeat. Is she there?
Yes, of course she is.
Oh, I heard her. Oh well,
Just one sec. Just here. She's gonna say ahoy.
She is amazing. I really, everyone who knows me knows that I'm a big dog lover. I mean, a huge fan of dogs. And so this to me is just, I don't have any dog with me. I have these old Greek ladies above me.
I can just see the piece of refrain, nothing else. But
yes, it's an original. It's a I'm at my this week. Just to explain, this weekend I'm at my parents after 3 months, because we had the really strict quarantine. So I'm recording from my parents. I'm happy to see them. And my father was one of the biggest art collectors in the country. So everything around me is not modern, it's quite the opposite. So, but that's how I like it anyhow. So just 3 ladies over here, and your Alla Pugacheva over there.
Of course. So she's modern, and this is the right moment to introduce something modern, which is the first of our designers participating this week. So this is Daniely Peškové. It's really hard to start, isn't it?
I'm waiting for this.
Daniely Peškové showed precisely nothing, or nearly nothing, to be honest. Last week when you remember I was talking last week about how we should support culture. I didn't mean that what Daniela did. Instead of showing the collection, Daniela has sent us a video of some bodies moving with a poem in the background.
Poems are really popular these days.
I'm sorry?
poems are really popular these
Sure,
days.
yeah, we need poetry. We absolutely need poetry, but
we really need amateurs to do the poetry. That's the way to go about it. So.
Let's leave poetry to poets. Let's just go to fashion. I mean, I love when someone is talking to me about fashion using the fashion language. This is what we are missing here. She's not using the proper. She's talking to us in a foreign language, isn't it? Like trying to explain something that she didn't do. And cover it up with the poetry. That's very tricky. That's very funny. Although I thought maybe it's me. It's my fault. Maybe I'm limited. Maybe I don't understand that she's far, far forward. Maybe this is the best way to prevent overproduction, is to produce nothing at all. Just come to your client with the, the plot, what you can do, and based on how you present this plot.
Just to explain, this is, in my terminology, is called I'm selling a vision, There's a lot of people who are selling the vision, but I need to drag you out of your false idea, because you're not limited at all. Quite the contrary. And, I honestly, this is why I double-checked with you, because just for our viewers and readers, the only check I did with Piotr was, are you sure we got all the files? Because I seem to have been having a problem with opening files. And you assured me that, no, you have all the files. So I think we should not be talking about this much longer, because there's really not.
One thing needs to be said. I feel like, did you hear the story about the airlines that are actually sending their aircraft for regular flights totally empty, just to secure the best spot? This is really outrageous. This is beyond stupid. This is beyond irritating. So I feel like this week we are experiencing something like that. Daniela didn't want to skip the line, so she came with what she has. And she has just a brief idea, a vision. She's a visionary. She's a mystery. She's a woman of international mystery. I would like to be invited a bit as like a step more into her world, but I'm unable at the moment. So, Daniela, if you have nothing to show, maybe next time just skip it. Just come back next season or use the next opportunity. I think so.
I just want to. I will be adding just one little thing to what you said, because again, there's harmony. I can do anything with this. I agree with you, but I'm not sure. Maybe honestly, we did not receive, not we, but Vogue Czechoslovakia, we did not receive the full, complete file. But then again, that's what you said, basically the same thing. Either do it perfectly and flawlessly and be a professional. And if you have a collection to show, don't send just the torsoid video that says nothing with the poem. But, send the whole file, send everything in. If you don't have that, or you don't want your presentation to be in a very traditional way, showing all the looks, then say it, because people can get confused. So either way, this was not complete to me, and there was nothing to review really, so I'm not reviewing anything. Next.
So, but this is actually what happened with Daniela is a bit contagious, I think. We have Liběny Rochové. Oh, Liběna is a nasty girl as well. She's a bad girl.
Piotr, I have to do this because of you. Trust me, I really like you. I have to do this. Liběny Rochové, just so you know, is one of the most respected, and amongst me as well, I must say, most respected she's not just the theorist, she is leading the atelier of fashion in the university in Prague. And she has a very cool atelier, her atelier that brings up the new talents. And these people are amongst the most talented people, and I really mean word by word what I'm saying. She's a professor. She's a woman of great detail. She's really strict with her students, which I admire, because this is something that's been missing in academic circles lately, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm right now studying my 3rd university, and I see how the system of academic and high education is changing. And she seems to have the strong upper hand still, and she's really bringing up the best talents in the country. She's kind of, you know, to me, she's kind of like a Czech Antwerp 6, but she's just one. She's really teaching them to be authentic, to be individual, not to copy anyone, to be great workers, professionals, detail oriented people. And so with Liběny Rochové, she's a name, definitely she's a name, and now this is going to lead us to what you wanted to say, and you absolutely are free to continue. Really surprised me that I saw this coming from her, and honestly, I don't know if there's a lack of time to prepare the materials, if there's something I'm missing now, because I was in awe. Like, I was a bit surprised about this presentation, although I must say, as she stressed in the press release, she went about sustainability and ecological fashion long time ago. For the people who were born, you know, who are younger, Düsseldorf, and you will know this for sure, was a mecca of our little geographical, like for the Eastern Ostblock, or for the countries that are around us, the way where to present themselves was Düsseldorf. So in the times when she was trying to start up her career and she was starting as a designer, this was really a place where to show your collections, where to make it big. And she said that she saw what was happening there, she experienced it, and she didn't want to go the mass way, which makes her a huge visionary, because this is many years ago. So kudos from me to her, that she went about this topic that's so hot these days, and that's so burning, and so really, honestly, we know, we don't need to repeat this here over and over again. Sustainability is a huge problem. Pollution is a huge problem. The industry needs to rework itself. And so she was honestly there where people from fashion are now. And so also one more flaw that I noticed with Liběny some time ago already, her stuff is like a piece of art. Like, some of her collections I saw is really architectural, and this is the school of Reikava Kubo, Comme des Garçons, if you know what I'm talking about. A lot of her, she has this Japan Asian way to go about the cuts and proportions and dimensions, which I absolutely admire, and it takes a lot of craftsmanship to do. This is what I'm stressing. When you see all these fluffy blouses and this raffle, this is no playing around. This is so hard to do. The same as doing a perfect minimalistic great tailor jacket. It's the same. It takes a lot of skill and expertise. And this is the last thing I will say about Liběny Rochové. It really is a pity she cannot work better with her brand, with her own brand. She could do much better if, first of all, her outlet, so the people that she works with and that sell her stuff, would be in a higher professional, you know, scale. If they could work with her clothes and push this commercial side of her a bit further. This is a huge pity, and I really hope that maybe in the future this will change, that she'll be more careful about where her pieces are hanging and who she's working with, because there's a huge potential. And I mean, she doesn't need this praise. She is an icon of Czechoslovakian fashion already, for me as well. Big respect for her, but it seems to me like she's so academically oriented these days that then she's, you know, lacking in these areas, and she's not watching over other details, you know, of her patience and of her career.
I said, Nasi, she's not Nati. I wanted to say naughty. The only one, with all respect to Liběny, with all that you already told me, that's fantastic background, and I can see it, and I can even sense it from these 6 looks. Unfortunately, I just take it as a preview of the collection. I can sense some 60s vibe, very interesting, very nice done preview of the collection, but there's the second part is definitely missing, right? So we don't see all these sweats that she's talking about, she's writing about in her press release. So we cannot see at least half of the collection. So again, probably because she's academic, what I was thinking, you know, as a I have the same experience from the past. Usually academics are being forced to admit that the education is the two-way street, right? So we not just let the other people learn, we also learn something back from them, from the new generation, which is usually the bullshitting. What can we get from the Gen Z, for example? Officially saying, honestly saying. But I feel like Liběna has already learned one thing: how to professionally fake it, because she just sending us 6 looks. These 6 looks are really promising, really interesting. There is a huge part of this collection missing, but anyway, she's brave enough to do it. So my only regret is that I did, as usually I do, I did check up her website. And this website seems not to be updated since 2016, which is really, really bad.
May I interrupt you? This is exactly what I was saying to you. You actually are hitting the nail on the head. This is the downfall of it. Mm-hmm. So she's not, I feel like she's not able to grasp all the dimensions of her career. So mm-hmm. the business, the presentation side of it, the business side of it, the presentation side of it, also, you know, it's very important to have the business side, because this is getting your work to public, to a broad public, to a broad spectrum of people. So, but you know, honestly, for me, you were really nice about the 6 looks. For me, it was the biggest disappointment were these 6 looks, because she can do so much better. Mm-hmm. She can do, honestly, architectural pieces that can be in Met museum, you know, on a display. And maybe this is also the downfall of it, that you expect so much that when you see something like this, you're like, okay, I get it. It's from you know, already existing garments. It's something that we talked about, we appreciate. But even that, I felt like it could have been done much better. For me, it was too first plan, the fuchsia, not really pink dress with the ruffle, something that does not speak to me at all. I understand, again, the ecology of it, the sustainability side of it, but these 6 looks for me were like, I'd rather have not seen them, to be honest with you. Like, I'm trying to forget I've seen them. And at the same time, I have the biggest respect for her. So I'm really torn. And
I don't know at all, but I feel like she's in a mood for 60s, and I would like to see the rest of the collection, because maybe, this is just the preview, so maybe some hits following. So we just let her show us what she really did, what she's working on now. Probably. Absolutely.
This is why I stopped you right off the bat, and sorry for that, but this is why I felt like I need to, because with her,
sure,
I respect her too much, and she really deserves the respect. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
I'm really happy that because I got the feeling like most of the designers we have already reviewed, they're in their 20s and 30s, which is typical for this region, as you said. Eastern and Central Europe. We somehow get rid of the older generation of designers. Like there was no fashion before. That is not true. There was fashion. No. Fashion was always, no matter the political or economic
absolutely, system. Absolutely. Just Google Slava Zaitsev or whoever, even big names are inspired by them, from Paris, from London, Russians. They were really big inspiration, not Slava Zaitsev only. There were many more, right? But yes, I absolutely must agree again.
So
shall we go on to the next one?
Represents the other generation. Right,
yes.
So we move on to Natalie Dufkové and Nanish, right? Nanish by Natalie.
It's the new name for her collection or for her brand, because she was known as Natalia Dufkové. With her, I don't want to be long, because to me, I was really taken by her designs the last fashion week, the past one. What's really she's one of the Liběny Rochové students, by the way, and you can sense that from the overdone silhouettes, the dimensions that remind me exactly is what I said before, Ray Kawakubo and Comme des Garçons. It's she had these the last collection, she had this sportswear which had a little twist, overdone a bit, not even dressy, but with, you know, sportswear with ruffles, with bigger sleeves, with dimension. It was really cool, and I was really taken aback by it, and actually wrote to her. I was interested in one of her pieces. That's how I liked it. This time, I'm a bit confused. First of all, the golf cart. When I saw that, I actually thought, wow, that's kind of a cool idea. You know, I haven't seen that before, or I haven't seen that too much in fashion. It's kind of making fun of it. It's kind of admitting it. It was exciting, but then I saw the little car, and then I saw that plane, and then I saw the knitwear that reminded me, by the way, a bit of Teresa Rosalie Kladoshova that we reviewed last week. And then I saw just, for me, the collection was again fragmented. I understand she tried to grasp more aspects of fashion. It was the leather, or it was the eco leather, and then it was the knitwear and the black color that she tried to claim as that this is something that brings serenity, which I absolutely agree. What am I wearing again? Blank. So yes, I absolutely get the black obsession and the black expression, but to me, it was fragmented. If she worked more with the leather pieces, with the coats, very 80s vibe. I'm not sure if you perceived it the same way, but it was very 80s vibe. It was something that my mother wore when I was smaller. It was these mantels, you know, mantel in Deutsch. Not trench coats, not coats, something in between, usually tied in the middle with these very 80s silhouette, but done in this modern way. This is something I really enjoyed in the collection. The knitwear, it was like it doesn't belong there. It's maybe she could do it in two different collections. You know, just play more with the one and play more with the other. Do you know what I mean? But this was to me fragmented, and I saw the potential, but it wasn't fully, like, it didn't envelop fully for me.
I'm afraid this is again the case of the designer who's trying to accommodate way too many ideas into one collection. The beginning of the collection is totally failure to me. This sportswear, this, you know, turtlenecks with leggings, or even the other trousers that looks like made of something really artificial. This is the worst part of this collection. I would definitely cut it out and skip it. She shouldn't go into this direction. She has commissioned an artist, Jan Grabowski, who did the print, this multiverse print, because the collection is even called the multiverse, right? The multiverse, which is opposite to universe. So I feel like this print is already, when you have something called multiverse, you need some space. So don't squeeze this print into really tight tops and trousers. Just give it some more space, like some, you know, roomy, large scale.
Sorry to interrupt you, but this is again what I said last week. When you claim something very specific, do live up to it. If you claim this is going to be something multiversal, then, you know, live up to it. For me also, the prints were, I've seen this before, it's nothing, it's too mainstream for me, you know, and for her, because she's really talented. Like, did she really need to do it? She felt like doing it, but did it have a place there? I have the same sentiment as you.
She said that the collection is about, it's kind of paranoid already. It's about an ability to get rid of the technology, right? So you're trying to run away from the technology, but you are unable to. So, or it's already paranoid. It's already very tricky starting point to do the collection. I sense like she was trying to say something about current situation, what's going on with planet Earth, etc., etc. It's way too much to squeeze into one collection. Maybe it wasn't enough time to do so. Maybe she should go down from the outer space to the planet Earth and just be more grounded. So I feel it could work. What I like, what I find funny, I have to say, this is the final part of the presentation when those two girls are getting together into this private plane. To me, it's like Ridley Scott, Thelma and Louise moment. So you know that's gonna end bad, and I think it's very brave to end the presentation of the collection with Ridley Scott moments. So with Thelma and Louise.
It's
so,
one of my top 5 movies of all time, Thelma and Louise. I was just writing about it.
Aren't we? We both are.
I love Thelma and Louise, and but you can have a look at the ending in 2 different ways as well. For someone, it's a bad ending. For them, it was probably a good ending. But in this context, you're saying, I absolutely get your point.
And when she's using clubs at the openings, right in the beginning of this movie, when she's using clubs quite aggressively like a weapon. And golf is actually had a very bad reputation right now because it's a favorite activity of President Trump. Tricky, dangerous, stay away from golf.
Here, it's hot, it's getting hot. It's getting hot.
It's getting really, really hot. Okay, so shall we move on to Petra Kubíková?
Absolutely.
Okay. The
collection. You go first. You go first now.
All right, so you don't need to ask me twice. Petra, the collection is called Combine or Combine, I suppose, because there's an accent. Combine. Mm-hmm. What I feel like when you are combining less and trying to design more, you win. So this is the starting point of this review. When she's doing something with the shape, when she's trying to do something with the shape, just forget all these stripe pieces. When she has top, which is horizontal, then a bottom, which is vertical, and a part which is diagonal. This is not her thing. I feel like she's really into something when working on the shape, on a simple stuff plane. The rest is just missing the point. I don't understand. The orange shirt looks like a last second pickup from the laundry bag. I don't understand why is it into this collection, what it's supposed to do. There are bags and accessories with, instead of single belt, with double belt, which to me is not design, it's just, pessimism. Why do you need 2 belts when just one do the job? So I don't understand this. I'm really confused. I don't know what to say about Petra. I feel like, also she's trying to, this collection is that small, is so compact that she needs to use every single look 3 times to create a 30-second animation. So maybe if she just, forget about the presentation and do the selection of the looks and even go down to 5 looks, it would look much better. Because I feel like she's trying to do something more, like she's trying to present more, when at the moment it's better to do less but more precise. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinion. What do you think?
Well, I honestly love the diversity of the opinions here. And this is something I absolutely stress. Viewers should notice the variety and diversity of the opinions. It's not like, world is so polarized these days. Either you hate something or you love something. People are polarized against people as well. Either you're with them or you're with us. This is so narrow-minded, and it shows just people's weakness. It shows really people's weakness. So if people can be objective and they can be real and true and really stress their opinions, that just gives them credit. I will just say that. And so now I will be very honest with Petry Kubíkové, because again, she's in my portfolio and I'm selling her clothes. And I really appreciate your opinion on this. And as I know Petra, she will actually not be offended at all, but she is so clever that she will take this information to her own advantage and she will work with what you said, because that's what smart people do. They don't really focus on the critique when it's done in a very intellectual and intelligent and friendly manner. That's exactly what you have done. But they do it, they turn it around and they make something good out of this. Now, Petra, she's a Japanologist, you know, so she's teaching Japanese language. She lived there for a long time. She still teaches, and you can sense that in the creations. This is very important for you to know, because it's I'm switching it up right now. The silhouettes, the Asian silhouettes, you can sense them in the kimono style coats, the way she ties the coats, the way the silhouette goes like more broad up and then more narrow coming to the end of the silhouette. The sleeves also are a bit Asian, but then they remind me sometimes of functionalism for 20s Czechoslovakia, you know, the coats. Such a pity you have not reviewed her last collection that went to Kiev as well. I was actually attending the Kiev. I flew to Kiev for the presentation of it, and that was our bestseller in our showroom. The coats were amazingly done. The silhouettes were right there. For me, this collection is not my favorite in a sense that I actually purchased a lot of her last collection pieces because it's something I wear and I absolutely admire. This is for a very specific client. It's made out of linen. It's very, as you said, there's something very simplistic in this collection. It's really simple. There's not much happening. So it's just a very plain dress, and she's trying to do the trick with the double belt. But what's really surprising to me, and this I must stress, it always surprises with Petra. I see it on the pictures, then she brings this big bag of these things to the showroom, and then we hang them on the display, and it already starts to look good on the hanger. There's something happens, and it's not out of this world, and it's already presentable on the hanger. And then the magic happens. The clients come, and it's usually ladies that have a good taste, but they're not very sophisticated. And I don't mean this at all in a condescending manner. They're just like comfortable, nicely done clothes, because this I must stress, Petra also is one of those who have great flawless tailoring. The stuff is really nicely done, nicely sewn together, really nice materials, good work with the material. She knows exactly how the material behaves, etc. But when the clients put the stuff on, it's something. With some pieces, I know it because I own them and I admire them. But with some, it's just like I don't understand what happens somewhere in this time span. And the client puts it on, and it fits perfectly, it looks nice, and the wearer actually gives it the personality and the vibe and the twist. And it may be something we don't know, but she knows, and she knows very well what she's doing, because her stuff is also very fairly priced. And I must say one thing about Czechoslovakian design, because this is a place to say it. Some people are very young. They don't even do their own original ideas. I mean, Petra is not doing anything special, but she's not at least copying her colleagues. It's the stuff she's making, it's too basic. And again, not in a condescending way. It's something you don't copy, and it cannot be copied because it's a plain piece of dress, you know. But with some others, she has also elaborate pieces. This is more on the simple side, this collection you reviewed. But the people are young, they do copies of their colleagues, and they ask so much money for them. It's unbelievable. You know, it's almost at the level of the international designers and big brands. Her stuff is also very fairly priced. So I must say, from my point of view, it's a collection that maybe does not speak to me again as a client. I'm not her target group here. But for me, as I work with her for some time already, great professional, always on time, does her stuff flawlessly, right to the point. She doesn't beat around the bush. She enters it from picking up the phone and doing her stuff, you know. to bringing the collection to us. And she has a very specific clientele of people who like good fashion, but they're not too demanding, they're not too sophisticated, and they're a bit classic, I would say. Classic, that's a good word. Not even simple or unsophisticated, but they're classic. It's a classic wearer, not unfuzzy, that needs to move in the clothes, that needs to be comfortable in the clothes, but still needs a little twist. So I understand your point of view. I see why I see what you see, but as I say, because I've seen her collections before and I worked with them, I ask you, just for me and my little prosim here for you, Piotr, when you have a minute and you don't forget, have a look at her previous collection, just so you know what I talked about. I just want you to see it because I think it's something that would interest you much more than what we've seen now.
Well, I'm not really that critical, but my approach towards this collection is not that much critical, but I have to point one more thing. Is a technical mistake that she did that truly annoys me. She says this is the pre-fall collection. So I go to her website and I see exactly the same collection being named as a spring-summer. So once you do the crime like this, you really have to be sure you're raising all the traces. Okay, don't take us as illiterate. We are not idiots. We're gonna check up everything. So Petra, next time, if you decided to rename
Petra, listen now. You don't hear it from me, you hear it from Piotr. Listen,
yeah, Petra, as a friendly advice, when you do anything like that, make sure there is no trace of the previous name like spring summer. If you want to call it pre-fall, just make sure that it's pre-fall also on your website or anywhere else where you display the collection.
I agree. And this is what I stress to This is what I stress to our designers and designers we work with so many times. Do everything properly or don't do it at all. It's my motto in life. Either I do something and I do it 100% or I don't even go in there, you know. To her, just to say the information correctly, she told me she's working on her website. Also, she has a newborn child. Newborn child. She has already one really small child and she has a small toddler. So I know exactly, I'm a mother as well and I have a relatively young child. My daughter is 9 years old, but I remember when she was a toddler and I was leading the auction house and it was so hard to juggle everything and it was really exhausting. So this is not to defend her at all. She should have done her job properly the same way, but this is exactly what I say. If you don't have time to do it properly, leave it. Don't do it. Leave it. Don't put the website up. Just do your collection, and when you have time, do it, or have someone to update it. But again, I think that this is something she will take as a good advice, and she will absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just saying it because I feel it's very important to say when you are, no matter how experienced designer, the website is your business card right now. So when you get a potential client like me or you, seeing your collection for the first time, and I already got hooked, right, by this collection. So I want to go to the website to see the previous collections, whatever. And there is something missing. It's not just Petra. Petra is actually not that bad in her archives. The other designers, Liběny is the best example how it works. She just got frozen in 2016, which is not acceptable, which works against her, right? So that's why I stress it so much. The website is really crucial. It's the tool number one. It's your business card. This is what you present to the world. So you really have to get someone who's gonna do it professionally for you. And then I
just wanted to add, for me personally, I work a lot with internet, obviously. But for me also, I wouldn't mind if some people didn't have a website at all, to be honest with you. I think that fashion needs to go back to a bit of a mystique. That's something I wrote in the last article, just have less about Thomas Mayer and about how we should change our consumer behavior, but also how designers should not give in to the pressures of big companies pressuring them into something they don't want to be. And for me also, fashion needs a bit of mystique to go and search for the pieces. I hate everything for being so accessible and one click away. I'm not really a fan of this. I understand this is what the the times we live in demand, but I sense this may be changing a bit as well. So yes, I agree with you, but as I say, either have a website and do it really properly, so it's fully functional, it's absolutely up to date, it's really, telling everything you want to tell your clients about yourself, or don't have a website at all, have an Instagram account, for example, and direct your clients to specific places where they can, buy your collection. So these are two ways to go about it, but this in between, I absolutely get you. I'm a perfectionist as well, and this really bothers me as well. So Petra.
Well, as you said, Petra, because Sýkorové is your place to go, just redirect every people who are going to your website.
Yeah, and that would do. One photo, a name of it, one photo, and sale points. Nothing more you need. And it actually turns on the people to try the clothes. As I say, this is something that may be happening in the future, and I predict that fashion needs to go back to a bit of mystique. This is just not working anymore for me, so.
Hopefully. So, to sum up, we have the fifth and the final collection this week is from Zuzany Kubíčkové.
Yes.
Do you want me to start again? Because Zuzana is actually very active. She's got 2 lines already. She has a very, I would say, very well-developed website. She's nothing to complain about. I did like the movie that she did, the way she presents her collection, because...
May I just interrupt you with a question here? I wanted to ask you right off the bat, did it remind you of something that you recently saw? It's just a question of mine.
Darling, this collection is like a love letter to all designers of Yves Saint Laurent, from the current one back to Monsieur Yves Saint Laurent, the original one. So this is the love letter to Pilati, to Stefano Pilati, to Eddie Slimane, to Tom Ford, even to Monsieur Saint Laurent. So I feel like she's in love with what Yves Saint Laurent did and what all the other designers who took over the Yves Saint Laurent brand did afterwards, because she's trying to create the this collection of the classical looks. Somehow she succeeded, but I'm not really satisfied, because I really feel like there are too many references to the Yves Saint Laurent. It's so clear to me that she did it. I don't understand the point of, presenting the jacket again with no sleeves. So it's not jacket, but it's not the vest yet. So it's something in between. I don't understand. It's not modern. It's not creative. It's not avant-garde. I don't understand this trend. This is something.
You mean the black one? You mean the black one with a bit of a padded shoulder?
Yes.
I must disagree. I love that piece. I loved that piece. I love the tailoring of the piece, but it's probably because it's something I do. I do sharp dressing, sharp tailor dressing. This reminds me of Dior, actually, the silhouette and the way it has been done. And it's probably because I'm a woman, So if you were a man, this is something I use because. See, the thing is, if I wear it as a woman, I don't mind that the sleeves are not there. I will just throw, in the summer, I'll go without anything on top. And in the winter, I will put just the jacket, like a Chanel jacket or something on top, and a coat on top. But I see from a point of view, it's maybe not practical, but this is actually a piece that I like. But finish your review and then I'll say mine.
Naturally, I can stop here. The presentation of the collection is okay. I'm a bit curious what she can do next, because this collection is called Pop, so it's like the second line. It's not even collection. It's just the second line, which is it's
a permanent name of the second line. Is Pop by Zuzany Kubíčkové.
So this is the second line that is supposed to be more accessible, which is supposed to be more accessible also in terms of prices, which is focused on the tailoring and design. This tailoring is really good. In terms of tailoring, it looks very good. It looks like, the sharp, clean cut. you get the impression that it's really well done. There are two more things that are bothering me. Shall I go ahead, or do you want to say something right now, or shall I leave it for you?
Go ahead. Absolutely, okay. Go ahead. I will sum it up.
What I sense here, what is really surprising to me, is this weak, which is weakness towards relics of the past, not just in terms of cut, design, etc., and classics, also in terms of presentation. First of all, she's using their landline telephone. So how can you explain the generations that the phones, not that long time ago, were not all of them mobile, some of them, but okay. That inspired me to dig deeper. So I went to her websites, both, and I found something really surprising and really, I would say shocking. There are two things called Pański żupan i Pańska piżamo. Have you seen that? Which is Pański żupan i Pański piżamo. So Pański żupan is, of course, men's bathrobe, and then Pański piżamo is a pajama made of silk. And my question is, why do you think anyone who's taking man to the bed will dress him up before that? Because it makes no sense. Man in the bed needs to be naked. That's quite obvious. Otherwise, he's just taking some space. He's just taking the room left. So why do you feel in the 21st century that the pajama and the bathrobe is an essential part of the man's wardrobe? Because there's nothing else for a man, just pajama and his bathrobe. I don't understand. Do you agree with me, Eva? Because, you know, it's based on our experience. Who's going to dress up man before taking him to bed? We need man naked.
You know, the next time I'm in...
Let me rephrase it. Okay. Silk, smooth, and comfortable.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, I get the park. Men are for different activities, for different things, for different purposes, right? Am I right or wrong? So this is my concern about. I mean, I'm just asking myself: is Zuzana 100% Czech, or there is a tiny bit in her DNA Polish? Because this is really 20th century or even 19th century to be way of thinking.
I will make sure I will. I'm speechless from your pajama session. I will ask Zuzana next time I'm with her. I will ask precisely for you these questions. I will. I promise.
Thank you. So
we will solve this. We will solve this mystery. I promise you, Piotr. We will solve this mystery.
You understand my point of view.
I get you. Okay. I guess she's trying to be complex.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think about Zuzana then? What's your opinion?
Again, I must say this again, and I will say it again and again. We are so being fair, because for people who don't know, this styling was done by Jan Kraliček, which is our friend, yours and mine.
Sure.
Or you know this. Honza Kraliček, one of the best stylists I know. And I mean not just here, but on an international level. And so you can hear how objective this is, because if we were not objective, Piotr would just say, it's amazing, I love the styling, I love everything, and I want everything. And I'm a man, but I want that skirt and the blouse, and, you know. So this is being objective, and so now I'll be objective again. When I asked you what if there's something that you saw, or if you're having a bit of a deja vu, I see what I must agree with what you said again. So boring. I always almost agree with you. So boring, but for example, I saw a bit of La Formella there, the lookbook. The aesthetic. Here we go again. And here I must stress one more thing. I actually feel so sorry for the designers these days that come out these days and want to do something really relevant in fashion, because they come in the worst era possible, not just because of the crisis and because of what's happening in the world, but because of this fact that everything has been done already and has been done so many times, that to come out with something really striking, original, something that will shake the ground, I will say, is beyond possible. But what you can do what you can still do is being professional, being authentic in your own way, having a concept and context. And Kubíčková is known for having all of these. Now, the aesthetic again reminds me a bit of La Formella. Why? Because it's around the sunglasses, the really similar, square sunglasses. It's about the sharp aesthetic of the sharp dressing. But if I should pick between these two, this is how it should be done. The styling is flawless. The idea, the movement, the dynamics of the video, all the pieces were presented in such a manner that there was no question about what the piece is and what the piece should serve. Okay? The phone didn't bug me at all because, again, I'm a classic. I love the retro vibe. I love the 80s feel. I love the 90s feel. I love it. I love that the location was not cash-only studios, again, but it was actually, they actually went out and visited a winery, which is not in Prague, and they shot the beautiful, local setting, not just some anonymous, futuristic, worldly, whatever, pretending to be something. They were actually on a really cool local spot. And this is all sensed from the video. Styling flawless to me. And as I said, La Formella, take a note. This is how this type of clothes and styling should be presented. This is how the presentation should be done. With me, I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, I was loving every second of it. Now, with the collection itself, one of the biggest advantages of this collection, which Zuzana did, is she designed it for a very specific client in mind, and she lived up to it. This is an example how to live up to your collection. If you're going to say your collection is going to be for ambitious, hardworking, sharp dressing women, this is exactly it. If you notice, there's all the elements that such a woman should have in her wardrobe. The sharp skirts, the silk dresses, the pants. So it's from in the evening going to the office and then going for a drink after the office, to the evening wear, which is really elaborate with the see-through tulle and with the sequins and the glitter side. So there's a whole wardrobe presented for a woman that is ambitious, that likes to work, likes to dress sharply, and that wants to be really, that is cool, okay? Classic but cool. And so to me, it was a complex collection of things we've seen before, yes. We've seen this before, and I must say here, again, to be objective, many designer colleagues, sometimes point out this moment about Kubíčková, that her, her jacket is like Dior and this and that. This is something that's, I'm not saying a secret, this is something that's been whispered aloud a lot. But, and there's a big but, yes, but as I say, it's really hard to do something elaborate which has not been done before. So you need to go your own way about it and present it in your own way and stick to the vision, which she's been doing. And she, again, did nothing groundbreaking. She didn't do anything. She didn't even do like Zolotod, and I will, again, cite his name, because what he's doing with the cuts, for example, with the cuts, he's using a special cut he used in the last collection of a circle, which comes from architecture. So it's science. It's not tailoring. It's science. So he cut all the sleeves and all the silhouettes. So they themselves, the way they cut, create another silhouette just from the round cut. So do you know what I mean? So he didn't do a straight sleeve, but he cut it in a way that the round sleeve creates a balloon sleeve, just being tied and cut because of the cut itself. So he's working in a very visionary, again, and demanding way with the cuts, but not, and this is something to do. This is the way how to be authentic about your collection, even though you cannot come up with anything new because it's impossible. In the times we live in, it's impossible. And so Kubíčková, and I must say this, what I like about her is that she does the classic pieces from the classic wardrobe in a, I would say, advanced way. for our market, for what's out here. I've been to her atelier many times. You go for 2 or 3 probes before she hands you your piece. So there's a lot of attention to the detail, and yes, nothing groundbreaking, nothing new, but the presentation flawless and a very clear idea of who her client is, and she did everything around it. She did everything around it. So she did a collection with a very specific client in mind, and for this, big respect to her.
But I have to say, I most of the time strongly agree with what you're saying, but I feel like this particular moment in the history is what most people are waiting for, the challenging moment. I feel sure it's really hard to do something new. But actually, what we are all talking about is no turning back. We need to move forward. So this is the moment that we would like to see something new. And we have already seen some of these people. I mean, like last week, Teresa Kladashova, right? I said she is not the best designer, but she is a very good artist. This is something new. She's got so just what we are looking for. What we are looking for. We are not looking for
fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. We look for visionaries. We look for artists with their own sensitivity, with their own sensibility, with their own universe that they can create. So we already have you mentioning Zoltan. I meant mentioning Kladashova.
But Piotr, you know, I thought about this problematic for a long time, and you know, this is the problem again. It all comes out from the personality of the designer.
Exactly.
So, the problem with this world is that fashion became too popular and too cool. And many people that want to be designers don't want to be designers because they want to express their artistic vision, but because they want to be in there for the champagne and for the good company and for the rich ladies that buy these clothes. And that's all the wrong reasons. That's and for being famous. And so this is the problem. There's a lot of garbage, and there's a lot of new signals, new little diamonds that are shining through the garbage, such as Teresa Rosalie Kladashova, for example, because you can sense the personality from the clothes and from the designs, and you can sense that she's doing it because she really believes in it, and there's not these other, there's not these other things behind it which are useless and pointless and which are not even it's nothing to build on. And you know, if you look in the past, if Saint Laurent or if it was, I don't know, Christian Lacroix or anyone, they were the visionaries, they were the personalities. The fame came, but it always destroyed them. But why they started doing it from the beginning, it was passion, it was vision, it was something they believed in, a message they wanted to get across, or just an aesthetic imagination they wanted to put into form. And it was passion. On the first place, it was always passion. So this is the problem. If more people that do the fashion for real passion will start doing the fashion, this will change the industry. Unfortunately, there's a lot of posers, and I will say this over and over again. Right now, there's a lot of posers and a lot of people that don't know nothing about tailoring. They don't know nothing about silhouettes. They just copy all the codes because the codes work. And for me, this is very, this will be short-lived. It's nothing to build on. So yes, again, we need more visionaries. And exactly this is where the air needs to be cleaned a bit, I would say. But still, still Instagram, again, there's a lot of bad things coming from Instagram because people are influenced so easily. So they see something, these people create a vibe and hype around them. And suddenly the people who don't have much knowledge about fashion, or just, they don't really dig deeper, they will jump on the bandwagon, they'll start buying it, and it fuels all the wrong processes, So with Instagram, again, is on a decline as well, because that was so typical for an era, and the era was typical for all these things. So for me, yes, it's a breaking point, not just in fashion, in civilization, in our culture. Many things will be done differently, and let's hope that we will have a lot more real people and real talents.
So let's hope for, the hype is over. We are open and welcoming all the personalities. This week, previous weeks, and coming up next week, we're gonna see who's joined them. So
and maybe we should close off with this really nice idea that you just said.
So this is the final part of our meeting today, when Pugačová is saying nashledanou. So see you next week. She's ready for next batch and the next group of designers to review with me. She's very happy. She's a big fan of Czech and Slovak.
Oh, we must get her some nice little things to wear from some of our designers.
Well, actually, you know what? She told me that she's a bit disappointed with what she's getting from Vogue Czechoslovakia. It barely covers her hair and makeup. Andrea, we need to discuss this. We need to talk about Pugačová.
Oh.
So
okay, now the Trump was nothing. Trump was nothing. This is a cherry. This is a cherry on the cake. Saving the best for last, Piotr. Oh my God.
I know. I'm a big player. I know how to play it. Okay, so see you next week, Eva. Thank you.
See you next week. It was a pleasure as always.
See you. Bye.
Bye.